everybody, welcome back to Ursa Minor Sewing, and today we are starting on the first garment of our Japanese attire series, and that is the Haori from this pattern. Now this is a discontinued pattern, but you can make a Haori from the other one. Hopefully later on down the road I will find time to show you how to do that. But we're starting off with this one because I've got all the pieces cut out, and the construction for this one is a little more different from the kimonos. So I've already got all my pieces cut out and prepped. Not going to show you the cutting part like I said in the last video, because cutting is pretty straightforward, but I will give you a quick glimpse of the layout that I used from the pattern. Also, when you cut out, make sure to mark your notches and tack or pencil mark the dots and squares, I think. Okay, so have a quick look at the cutout and meet me over at the sewing machine. Alright, so we're going to start off with the sleeves in this episode, and hopefully we can cover the body and collar in the next episode of this. What I've done is taken a piece of the lining and a piece of the main fabric, and they are right sides together, and you can't really see my markings for the circles on here, so I've put two different colored pins in. There's the red ones, everything else is pinned in yellow, and we're going to sew between these red pins along the edge with the curved corner. There's a curved corner and there's a pointy corner. Okay, so we're just going to give this a quick zip, and then gotta take my mom's bumper off of here for a second. There we go. Not my machine, it's hers. And all of the seam allowances in this pattern are 5/8 unless otherwise noted. Okay, and if you're wondering if I'm going to be finishing the edges, I'm going to be using a serger. But again, I'm going to do that behind the scenes because serging is serging and it's boring. Okay, so now you're going to do is along that edge, I'm going to fold it out like so, and then we're going to start with our lining side here. Take the lining and fold it in half. And you should have a piece that looks kind of like this. Okay? And what you're going to do now is sew along this edge from the sharpened corner here, along this edge, around the rounded corner, back to the point where we sewed everything together. Right? So let's just pin that up and run it through. And we'll see what it looks like when we get back. Oh, and the other thing you want to do actually before you flip this inside out like this, let's just flip this back, is you actually want to snip down the seam allowance to your stitching. Let's just do that really quick. Snip up to, but not through the stitching. And don't be shy, most scissors can get that close. Just a quick, just like, there we go, that. Okay, so I'm going to run that seam that I was talking about earlier, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and I stitched the facing material as well while I was off camera. Now what we have to do is take these two halves, and you're going to grab the, one sec, you're going to grab the bottom edge of the outer facing right here, and the opposing side of the sleeve right here, and you're going to bring them together like that. I wish I could show you a bit better how I did that, but you've got it opened up like this. You've got one bottom seam in your hand here, one bottom seam in your hand here, and you're just going to flip them around and line the seams up. Like that. Okay? And pin together. And just find the large dots on your sleeves here. And pin at those dots. And the other side too. Just like that. And again, you're going to stitch between the two dots and then clip at the dots up to, but not through your stitching line, okay? So there it is. It looks like a really twisted mess right now, as you can see, but it'll all come together in a minute, okay? So I'm going to run this seam really quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that we've got this balled up mess here, I've show you that seam that I just ran. Where is it? There it is. It's kind of... Nope, that's not it. Like I said, it's a balled up mess. Where is it? There it is. So this here is the seam I just ran. So what you're going to do is, if I hold it up, you can see the two round edges here. There's one and there's one. You're going to take those and bring them together like that. And if you kind of take that seam you just did and give it a little snap, and like that. See, everything kind of lies flat. Now what you're going to do, this is the fun part, well, not really, I say that facetiously, is you need to tack, well actually you need to sew down those two edges. Now, had I realized this, I would have waited on serging the lining, but because now I've actually diminished my seam allowance, but you're going to get this to lay as flat as you can against each other, and then you want to serge around, or not serge, sorry, you want to serge. You want to sew from here all the way up around this corner and to here as best you can. Before I do that, I think I'm actually going to run this side through the serge really quick to bring the seam allowances down to the same size, and then I'll do that. So I will go take care of that, and I'll show you how to line it up on the sewing machine. Okay, so I've got them all serged, and I've got them laying as flat as I can together. There we go. So I'm going to get these lining up as best I can here. problem with this lining material that I chose is it's really torquey, but I'm going to get them together and then I'm just going to run a quick 1/4 inch seam allowance around the outer edge of the serging that I did. Get this in there, just like so. And take your time with this. Hopefully this doesn't look terrible when I'm done. Okay, got the seam all done. It was a bit tricky, but I think next time with the other sleeve what I'll do is I'll wait until I get to this stage before I serge it, and everything will go much easier. Okay, so now what you gotta do is flip it right side out. So you're going to stick your hand in through the sleeve hole of your facing fabric or your public fabric, reach into the lining way down at the bottom, and pull it right side out like that. Kind of give your seams a little bit of massage here because some of them might not want to lay flat right away, but if you take them and kind of give them a little torque and a pull and a twist and a... There it is. There's a sleeve to go into the body. And what you want to do after you've gotten it to this stage is take it over to your sewing or your pressing station, your ironing board, and press this flat. Then you want to baste, oopsie, these raw edges together because these is the edge that's going to get sewn into the body of the Haori. So I'm going to go take care of that and get the other sleeve taken care of, and I'll show you what they look like. And that will be the last of the episode for today. And that's what the sleeves look like, completed. I'll zoom in here and I'll show you. I basted at a 1/2 inch all the way around to keep the lining and the public fabric together. And I serged the edge, trying as hard as possible not to clip away any of the seam allowance on both sides. I actually noticed on one of these I ended up sewing a bit of a pucker into it. We'll see what the rest of it looks like once the main garment is finished, but I think I may possibly have a way of hiding that. We will see. But there they are, all ready to go. Thanks for joining me on this first step toward our Japanese attire, the Haori. In the next episode, we're going to be working on the body and possibly the collar. We'll see how quickly this goes. Until next time, guys, happy sewing!